There is a generation of young Christians who, when they actually hear the gospel, don't like the taste of it anymore. There was a recent clip where Ibram X. Kendi, who's the author of How to Be an Anti-Racist, and if you haven't read How to Be an Anti-Racist, let me tell you right here and right now, don't. One of the best-selling books in recent years, millions of copies sold. Ibram X. Kendi has paid tens of thousands of dollars by Fortune 500 companies to come in and beat them about the head and neck until they have been sufficiently guilted over their racism and sufficiently guilted into these works of anti-racism. Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, is being used in churches all over the country, promoted by Christian leaders all over the country. And recently, he was at an event, sitting on the stage, and he was asked about the church and the church's role in this issue of anti-racism. And Kendi expressed this idea of the gospel not being palatable anymore. And in a nutshell, what he said was that there was liberation theology and then there's savior theology. And Kendi argued that Jesus was a revolutionary and he was about liberation, and that Christians in the church ought to be about liberating people from earthly oppression and earthly oppressors. That's liberation theology, and that's what Jesus was about, and that's what the church should be about. He contrasted that with what he called savior theology. Savior theology is this passe idea, this racist idea that what we need to do is we need to get people saved, and we need to look at people on an individual level and bring them into the church and change them and transform them. This he refers to as a racist ideology. That's the gospel of anti-racism. It looks at the biblical gospel and it says, that's wicked. And his books are in churches. Used and promoted, even by some whom we just a few years ago would have considered heroes and giants. We need gospel clarity.